Live from the PCTV studios, the Monday Morning Quarterback. Your host, Dave Ridenauer.
Good evening, everyone, and welcome to yet another edition of the Vlahos Dunn Insurance Monday Morning Quarterback. I'm Dave Ridenauer, the Monday Morning Quarterback, and we have another great show planned for you this evening. Coach Mick and I are going to get ready to break down last week's action, and then, of course, look at what's coming up in the future weeks. So sit back and enjoy and relax. The Vlahos Dunn Insurance Monday Morning Quarterback will be right back with last week's action.
At Vlahos Dunn Insurance, we understand what moves people in business and in life, and we use this knowledge to better serve our clients. And we bring the same work ethic and commitment to our business as our customers do theirs. Vlahos Dunn Insurance, providing quality coverage to the Tri-County area since 1994. So call our knowledgeable staff.
Hi, I'm Jim Vlahos of Vlahos Dunn Insurance, and we're in your community.
This portion of the Vlahos Dunn Insurance Monday Morning Quarterback is brought to you by Security 5 for all your commercial and residential security system needs.
We're back. Dave Ridenauer again, joined by Coach Jim Mick. And Jim, let's dive right into it. We had a big weekend. We're getting into the meat of the schedule, if you will. We're in the middle of October as we head towards the end of the season, looking for district playoffs and league titles and things. Pottsgrove, Pottstown, the backyard rivalry we talked about a little bit last week, and the importance of that game. It's always a good, hard-fought, physical ball game. Pottsgrove, it appeared, had the upper hand looking at the stats and the schedules and the records and things. But Pottstown played them tough, even though the score looks a little bit lopsided. A pretty solid game.
Well, Pottstown has played tough defensively all year. Now, I know they gave up 35 points on Friday night, but that doesn't mean they didn't play hard. And you and I both know that they have a lack of depth. They're playing just about 10 players the entire game.
Well, you know, it's funny that you look at the defense that Pottstown has been known for offense for the years. They've always had good skilled players. They had guys who could take it to the distance on every given play. And this year, you know, they're second in the Pac-10 in defense. They only give up 226 total yards. They only give up 43 yards passing a lot of times because of their defense and what they've been able to do. But Pottsgrove, again, playing solid, turnover-free football was the key to them knocking
Well,
off
Pottsgrove is playing for that eventual showdown in a couple weeks with none other than PERK Valley. And, in my opinion, they seem to get better every week. I think their offensive line has come around, and they're playing better. And you know they've always been known for good line play. And Torin Verdone, he keeps improving as a quarterback, and they become multi-dimensional in the last couple weeks, which is odd for Pottsgrove.
Yeah, I know we talked about that. You know, the last couple of weeks, Verdone has really improved, although Pottstown did hold him to only 43 yards passing on Friday night. However, Michael Fowler caught 4 passes, including a touchdown. He certainly is a guy that you have to keep on your radar screen, the guy you have to make sure you game plan for. He is an exciting player on both sides of the football. Again, Devin Fink with 188 yards and 2 touchdowns, Coach. So they were able to run the football.
And you know, Dave, they also played solid defense. They held Pottstown to 119 yards of total offense. So defensively, they're also improving as we get down into the home stretch.
Well, Rick Pennypacker does take pride in that offensive line that you just mentioned about, and his nephew, big old Finn, at 260-pounder, the guy who doubles as the heavyweight wrestler as well, is really coming on strong here in the second half of the season. Pottsgrove, again, certainly playing well as they're coming down the home stretch, and again, a big win over their backyard rival, Pottstown, 35-7. Now, another game that we talked about is both teams had to be feeling pretty good about going into it was Boyertown and Phoenixville. Two teams that really hadn't played well, although Boyertown certainly playing much better as of late under first-year coach Parkinson. And Coach Brisblad down in Phoenixville trying to get his troops, rally them up together. And a game at Boyertown on Friday night, they had to go to overtime before.
Overtime, and a 10-yard touchdown pass from Lawrence Garnett to Mike Murphy sealed it.
The guy you
for
like,
the Boyertown
Murphy, too.
I like Murphy, and I like some of those secondary kids over there. They're tough, they're aggressive, they play the ball well. But you know what, Dave? Boyertown still has a problem, and it's they can't run the football. They only had 66 yards running the football, and you're not going to win a heck of a lot of games only rushing the ball for 66 yards.
Well, you and I talked about it, and some of these coaches in their first and second years, talking about, hey, run the football, play good, solid defense, get that game close into the fourth quarter, and you never know what can happen. And obviously, Coach Parkinson, they did play better defensively. Again, holding Phoenixville to only 7 points. The big three on defense who played very well down the stretch for Boyertown. They had C-Jack, you had Hughes, and they had Harvey. Those three guys really played well, sealed the game for Boyertown as they scored on, as you mentioned, that 10-yard pass in overtime.
Well, we don't want to forget either the effort of Phoenixville. They played very, very well on defense, forcing the game into overtime where they eventually lost it. But Coach Brisblad, he's got to be happy with the performance on Friday night by his football team.
Yeah, and again, and I both agree that there's really no moral victories, but he has to be happy with the way his gang played. There's another team sort of low on numbers. Matt Polubinski is certainly their best all-around player. 9 catches, 13 rushes, so he was a big part of the offense. And that quarterback, Ian Brown, has definitely developed as the season has gone on.
I also want to mention here, Dave, regarding the game, in that game, which was very, very close, as we know, because it went to overtime, there were no turnovers by either team. So both coaches got to be happy about that, because the one bugaboo is penalties and turnovers. And they didn't have any.
Absolutely. Coach, each week we do have our top 5 as we're talking about some of the games from last week. And we want to thank the people at Sanatoga Thriftway for sponsoring our top 5. PERK Valley still up there at number 1. We got Pottsgrove in that 2 slot right now, looking for an eventual matchup with PV. Springford jumps into that 3rd slot. Methacton in the 4th spot. And Boyertown rounds out our top 5 in the Pac-10 in our area. And again, I want to thank Sanatoga Thriftway for that as well. All right, and another game on Friday night, which was a good one. Upper Perk and O&J Roberts. Again, another game very similar to the Boyertown-Phoenixville game where you and I both discussed it last week in our forecast, and we were talking about, hey, there's 2 teams that think they can go into a game and win a ball game, and a big win for Tommy Hontz's gang over in Pennsburg.
Well, it was back and forth all night long. But Upper Perk scored, and it says something about their conditioning, scored 13 points in the 4th quarter to seal the victory. And you know what really surprised me, Dave, is Upper Perk had 397 yards total offense. O&J had 365 yards of total offense. And you know what? If you're a fan that likes to sit and watch offense, you would have seen a good ball game the other night.
Absolutely was a good ball game. But as Coach Hontz said, it was a big team effort, total team effort, which is certainly what you need to do, particularly when you're trying to find your way. You're playing a lot of young kids and sort of get your program online. And a big homecoming win for Upper Perk over there in Pennsburg. So that had to be a pretty good night for them, and I'm sure they're pretty fired up.
I want to mention one play because you and I both know that in every football game there are some big plays. 1, sometimes 2. But the key play in that game, in that win for Upper Perk, was a lineman on the 14-yard line. O&J came in to kick a field goal. A young fellow by the name of Owen Leister blocked the field goal. And according to the coaches, that was the big motivational turning point during that ball game, blocking that field goal.
Well, you know that Big Mo momentum is going for your side back and forth. And I know a couple of weeks earlier that Tommy Hontz, I guess they were playing Springford, and they came out pretty fired up and were playing them solid for the first quarter. And then all of a sudden they got stopped on a goal line stand, and that took all the momentum away from them. And so that's sort of a similar situation. Well, this time the Big Mo was on Upper Perk side as they were able to pull out a 27-20 win over Owen J. Roberts and one of the bigger schools. So again, there's a small school now, Upper Perk, playing with one of the big boys and knocking off Tommy Barr's gang.
Well, they got Mike Felix back this weekend, and he's been in and out of the lineup for most of the season with different sorts of injuries, and he had a big night. He had 22 attempts, 191 yards, and 2 TDs. And I also want to mention that young Zach Hallman has improved a great amount in his time in the 4 or 5 games that they've played in improving himself as a quarterback. And I saw him play against Springford. He can throw the football if you give him time. Good delivery.
Well, that's the thing is they can keep Mike Felix on the field, and he does play both ways, plays a little safety for him as well. But offensively, the 2 games that they won, he's had 160 yards and 190 yards and a few touchdowns. So he certainly is a guy that they want to keep healthy on that field. Now we go into Saturday's games, Coach, a game that you and I had the pleasure of doing down in Methacton. And again, it was a sort of a dreary, nasty old Saturday afternoon. It was just it sort of didn't feel right anyway with the college boards and the whole scenario, what time they were playing and starting and all that. And Springford, though, rebounded pretty well from their testing and all their different obstacles they had to overcome with a big 49-20 win over a Methacton team who had been playing very, very well and was looking to knock off Springford.
I thought we'd see a much tighter ball game. I really did, and I think you felt that way also. But Springford, when you look at the final results, is balanced in every area. They rushed for 248 yards. They passed for 224 yards. Plus, their special teams gave them a couple big plays. So they got to be happy sitting where they're at. I know they're disappointed that they may not make the playoffs and most likely will not. But they have to be happy with that victory over Methacton.
Yeah.
A tough Methacton team.
And it is a tough Methacton team. But again, we saw on the sidelines there's another team with not a lot of numbers. They had a lot of guys playing both ways. And in that third and fourth quarter, you can see a couple of guys getting nicked up. They're a half a step slow. They're a little bit tired, and bang, they're getting beat up a little bit. Connor Derrickson, a guy that we had on the show a couple of weeks ago as a quarterback, did a heck of a job. Dante Thomas, as we mentioned during the telecast, was probably the MVP of the ball game, even it was on the losing side. I mean, he did things offensively. He returned a kickoff 86 yards for a touchdown, defended a bunch of passes, and he got nicked up a little bit in the end of the game as well. But, you have Akeem Walcott, you have Derrickson, and then you have Thomas, 3 guys that really laid it out on the line and played well for Methacton in a losing cause.
Well, you mentioned it, and I want to mention it again, is about depth. I think a lot of these high schools don't have any depth, to be very blunt. And you need that. And I'll make an example. At Springford on Saturday afternoon, they brought in a sophomore by the name of Selwyn Simpson.
Yeah.
And you mentioned him a couple times during the broadcast. Yeah. The kid's a sophomore. He runs for 135 yards and 2 touchdowns, or 1 touchdown. And where did they get him from?
I know.
I didn't see Methacton have any of that type of kid good in there. Yeah. And as you said, Connor Derrickson and Dante Thomas and those kids, they're tough kids and they play tough. But I think they ran out of a little gas.
Well, no, there's no question about that. I mean, at the end of that ball game, you can see it again. You can see guys just starting to get hurt a little bit, a couple cramp situations. But you're right, and even Matt Gibson, who you like as the young sophomore, played predominantly in the first half, and we didn't even see him in the second half. And I didn't know if he got nicked up or was banged up or whatever. But this Selwyn Simpson came in, as you mentioned, and carried the ball for over 100 yards and scored a touchdown. And there is some of that depth that you talked about. But even receivers-wise, they had Stone Scarcelli out there. They had Barone. They have this guy. They have that guy making plays. Danny Matthews caught the ball a lot. They had that Trey Garman. So I mean, they have a lot of guys on that squad. And with Lee Craft really getting better and better each week, his footwork and technique.
He looked good.
He looked good.
Played
on
well.
Saturday. Yeah, he did.
And also, I can't forget the defensive team.
Absolutely.
I get heck if I don't.
I know. Jim Jr.
If I don't mention positive the defensive team. But you got the Brandon Barone, or not, excuse me, Brandon Zimmy.
Yeah.
Boy, is he a defensive player. He made makes plays when they run at him and when they run away from him. What a great pursuit player he is. And I think Zach Dorsey in the front four, they were very strong up there with the defensive line. I thought they stood out on Saturday afternoon.
Absolutely. They definitely controlled the line of scrimmage, and it did look like they were playing on Methacton's side of the ball for sure, getting good penetrations. I mentioned that Brendan Zimmy, I thought, looked like the Pac-10 version of J.J. Watt. He was all over the place, and I think you hit the nail right on the head. Plays right at him. He took him on.
Yep.
Plays away. He did a good job of pursuing. And then, of course, even on that one shovel pass that he able to knock that down, that they were incomplete on that one. It looked like that was going to be wide open. All of a sudden, Zimmy sticks his big old paw out there and knocks the ball down. He certainly got my attention, that's for sure. But that game, it was sort of billed to be a good one, never really materialized into that fourth quarter barn burner that we thought we might have. And credit Springford and their staff for getting those kids ready to play at a tough place. You know, we talked about Methacton, not an easy place to play on a Saturday afternoon.
Well, we saw that Methacton was getting tired and they were getting injured. But I'll give their kids a lot of credit because they never quit. They kept playing up until the 48th minute. And what's his name? Dante Thomas even ran that kickoff back after he came off the bench from an injury.
Yeah, they were checking his shoulder. He sort of got a little jam job on his shoulder, a little stinger, and he came back, put his pads back on, took the next kickoff back 86 yards for a touchdown. Was a heck of a play. You know, Coach, each week we do recognize a defensive play of the game. Our defensive play of the game or player of the game is brought to you by the Security 5. Randy Logan and all the guys over there, installation for all your businesses or residential security systems. They're good people over there. Give Randy them a call if you have any ideas or questions about installing a security system. And this is the play that sort of ended the Pottstown-Pottsgrove game as they're trying to threaten to score. There's Michael Fowler, picks the ball off in the end zone about 4 or 5 yards deep and goes all the way the other way, 105 yards, 104 yards, whatever he is, as the game clock ran out. And Michael Fowler in Pottsgrove is our defensive play of the game there. He eludes that one tackler as he sort of ran out of gas, but congratulations to Mike Fowler and Pottsgrove for our Security 5 defensive play of the week. All right, Coach, we got one more game, PV and PJP. You know, I'll tell you what, Scott Reed has really done a heck of a job with that squad. I mean, they are 5-0, and they're looking like they can't wait for this playoff or excuse me, 6-0, I believe. Can't wait for this showdown with Pottsgrove, but they are really playing well. They scored 56 points, 40-plus in the first half against PJP.
Well, don't look ahead too quickly, and I know Scotty won't because you got a game or two to play. But they're the same way as Pottsgrove. They're both looking for that eventual matchup, which will determine the league championship. So he's keeping those guys under wraps. All we're doing is looking for the next ball game and playing as best as hard as we can, and hopefully, as they have been doing, we'll come out with a victory. They led by 42-0 at half. And then Scotty, being the type of guy he is, pulled off the horses, and it ended up to be 56.
Well, you know, they had almost 500 total yards offensively. They rushed for 382 yards, Coach, and they're using a lot of guys, and I know he's always done that. You know, they have Ryan O'Donnell now. He had 3 touchdowns. He had been a guy that really hadn't been a predominant player, but he got a lot of touches. You know, they had that David Williams, who you really like, Tyre Wilson, and, of course, Steven Sturm, the young left-handed quarterback, the young sophomore, who keeps getting better and better and better. And because they're putting up all these numbers, I think we overlook sometimes their defense. But again, they held PJP to 6 points and only 20 yards rushing.
Well, I know Coach Graver said in the paper he was very disappointed that he thought his kid would come out with a little bit more fight than what they showed. But, you know, Dave, it is a tough situation. And any of us that coach were around the game, we've all gone through tough periods of losing and things like that. And it is tough for a coaching staff. It's tough for the players right now to get out there on the field every day. And we won one game or no games. And here we go. We got 4 more weeks to go. That takes a lot of coaching and a lot of heart by the players to keep going. I would like to mention, as good as they are, we talk about their skilled players, PV. That offensive line for PERK Valley is very good. Nothing runs in football unless the offensive line opens up some holes.
Okay, well, while we're talking about PV and Scott Reed, we have Uncle Tom on the line. We got Tommy Reed on the line here. What's going on, Tommy?
Yo, Dave, how you doing,
I'm
buddy?
good, man. I'm good. You're on the Monday Morning Quarterback, Tom.
Tommy.
Well, listen, we got a real bad connection here, so I'm going to hit you on three little things here, and I'm going to let you go because I know you're busy.
Okay.
First of all, your co-pilot there, Mr. Mick, he must be very proud to be announcing a game on PCTV and have his son, Jim Mick Jr., coaching.
Well, that was certainly part of it, yeah. Well, he
does a heck of a job.
Well, it's funny because there's a couple of times when he's coaching instead of announcing, and he's yelling at the defensive backs to get lined up properly. And I'm laughing at it because he's yelling at his kid to get the defensive backs lined up right. But he certainly is a proud father of a defensive coach, and Jimmy's doing a nice job down there.
Like he's a proud uncle.
Hey, Dave,
you're a proud uncle.
Everything that you're saying at your end is garbled, so I can't hardly hear you, but I also want to say to you that I went to the PV game and I left that game when it was 21-0, and I went to the Methacton game with about 7 minutes into the first quarter. Now I don't know who got Player of the Week, and you know I don't know, but I would absolutely put a nomination in for Brandon Barone because what a catch he made.
You're right, Tom.
Unbelievable. You did the game, so
Yep.
you know it.
Yep.
Yeah,
And then later on, he had another catch, and he had a couple jitterbug moves, and next thing you know, he's in the end zone again. His dad, Joe Barone, is a good friend of mine, and, of course, he's proud as a peacock right now.
Well, I'm sure he is. Again,
And the last point I have for you, because, again, I can't hear anything you're saying at my end, my grandson, Shay, wanted to wish his Uncle Reedy, which is Sean, a happy birthday in heaven.
Okay, well,
Because,
we appreciate that,
Sean
Tom.
would have been 33 today. And, of course, you know his Uncle Ronnie always called him Pumpkinhead.
Yeah.
I used to give him
I
heck
know you
for
remember
calling
that
him that.
because you called him Pumpkinhead, too. And
No, I didn't. No, I never called him Pump. No.
Well, I tell you what, we appreciate the call. I tell you, and our thoughts and prayers are with you as well on this, which would have been his 33rd birthday as well, Tommy. And we'll talk to you next week. We'll try to get a better connection. But Tom Reed,
Tommy, we were talking about Sean
I
before
will
the
call
program.
I will call you next week because, like I say, everything's garbled at my end.
Okay.
I don't know if I got a bad connection or if it's something at your end.
Pay your phone
At
bill.
any rate, I guess you hear me.
Yeah, we heard you. All right, my man. Well, thanks for calling, and we'll talk to you next week as well. But PV certainly doing a heck of a job, undefeated yet in the Pac-10 and number one in our SANATOGA Thriftway top 5. All right, Coach, well, we're going to take a quick timeout, and we come back. We're going to look at some playoff action and some things that are going to happen with the playoffs, potentially anyway, I should say. And then we're going to look at next week's ball games right here on the Vallejo's Done Insurance Monday Morning Quarterback Show.
Fred Beans Ford of Boyertown is located on Route 100, just 2 miles north of Boyertown. Fred Beans Ford provides automotive sales, service, parts, and body shop all in one place. They're open 6 days a week. Fred Beans Ford in Boyertown can be reached at 800-222-0243, 800-222-0243, or online at fredbeans.com.
Score with big savings at Sanatoga Thriftway. Our large selection of food, drinks, and household items at great prices keep you coming back. Stop by the deli and order big party platters so you can be fully prepared for the big game. As always, our friendly staff and fast checkout will make your shopping experience quick and enjoyable. Sanatoga Thriftway is celebrating our 14th anniversary of serving the Tri-County area, so stop by and check us out so we can check you out.
Oh, we're back. Okay, I'm sorry. Coach and I were talking off camera there during the commercial, and got caught napping, if you will. But, let's talk a little bit about the playoffs. We have a couple of teams that are vying for a spot in the playoffs. We have a 4A division, and we also have a 3A division in the District 1. And Pottsgrove is currently in the 4th spot with 590 points before last weekend's game. So they look to be pretty secure. There are 8 teams taken in the 3A, and Pottsgrove has been a fixture in those playoffs over the years.
Well, they could move up in the rankings there, Dave, from 4th up to 3rd or 2nd with a win over PERK Valley, who's a quad. So they're assured of a playoff spot. And they're the only team in that
in the 3A.
In the 3A.
Yeah, well, and again, we'll talk about who they play this weekend, and they have a couple of more games as they are 5-1. So they have 6 games. They'll have a couple more to go here in the Pac-10, and again, everyone's looking forward to that PV game. PV is the highest-rated team out of the 4A category out of the Pac-10. They have 620 points, and they are currently number 11. Methacton was tied for 17th with 530 points going into last week, and they lost, so that will hurt their chances of trying to get in. Remember, there are 16 teams in the 4A division, so PERK Valley looks to be pretty well settled in the middle there. Where they're going to end up, we'll have to find out, but could be another trip to the playoffs for Coach Reed's gang.
You know what, Dave? They are ranked at number 11, and certainly some people may say, well, I hope they move up and get this or that. But you know what? It's a one-game season each night you play. And whether you're 11th or 1st, you still got to win those individual starting playoff games. And Methacton, they're on the bubble.
They are.
They're 17th right now, and if they get into 16th, they will get into the playoffs. But you and I both know that District 1 Quad A is loaded with good football teams. I'm not saying Methacton and PERK Valley are both good, and they'll represent our league well. But District 1 is as good as any district in the state. And
Coatesville and Pennsbury are both tied for that first spot. They're undefeated going into last weekend, and Coatesville did win. I didn't see the Pennsbury score, but Coatesville is 7-0. They had 770 points. Pennsbury was 6-0. I didn't see what they did over the weekend, so if they remained undefeated, they are the number 1 seeds in the 4A. Springfield Delco is the number 1 seed so far with 800 points at 7-0 in the AAA. So we do have some things to watch out for that. All right, and some games now, Coach. Playoffs, and then, of course, the Pac-10 championship. Let's start with the Friday night games. We have Boyertown at PV. Now we have 2 of the bigger schools, so a big win for PV could help them in the points. It says they are currently number 11, a big win over Boyertown. Boyertown is playing much better, though, and defensively they held Phoenixville to 1 score last week, and this is a game that, here's a chance for Coach Parkinson to make a statement.
Well, you're absolutely right. And with the explosiveness of the PERK Valley offense, I would say to Coach Parkinson, you don't have to score every time you got to have the ball, but you better move those chains and keep the ball away from that high-powered PERK Valley offense.
And again, on paper, it would appear that PERK Valley has a little bit of an advantage and would be a favorite in this ball game. But again, Boyertown is playing well, and they are 4-2, and PV is 6-0. Another Friday night game, Methacton, again, who we saw on Saturday afternoon, sort of smarting a little bit, hurting from that game. They traveled to Bucktown to play O&J Roberts. Again, O&J coming off a loss against Upper PERK. This is a game that Methacton would like to get well against O&J. O&J has an opportunity to maybe jump up there and win a game at home.
Well, they got to, by Thursday, they got to forget the Springford game. Methacton must. And they've got to get healthy, as you said. And I want to mention this, that O&J put up a lot of, not a lot of points, but a lot of yardage against Upper PERK. And Dawson Stewart over there is playing pretty well and coming around as a quarterback for the O&J Roberts Wildcats.
But they're still playing 2 of them, though, Coach, and I know that you and I had talked about that before, and I'm not sure if Tommy wants to get the young guys some playing experience and then Bradford is the senior or what's the deal there, but I know you and I always like to have that one solid guy that you can sort of depend on and let him run the show, but Tom Barr doing his thing at O&J. And then PJP travels to Springford, and again, Springford seems to be cresting at the right time, if you will, playing their best ball here at the latter part of this season. And again, they would appear to have a big advantage over Pope John Paul, who was struggling to move the ball and then also defensively.
Well, they got to come out. PJP got to come out with a little fight in their britches. Don't give up the ship. Come out there and see what happens. And hopefully they can keep the game close for a while. But on paper, it doesn't look very good for Pope John Paul.
Okay, we have 2 Saturday afternoon games, so get yourself out there, all you local fans. You got some Friday night games to go see, and then get over there on a Saturday half. Upper Perk travels to Pottstown. They'll be over here at Grigg Memorial on a game Saturday afternoon. Upper Perk coming off a big win against O&J. Pottstown played well against Pottsgrove until they ran out of gas in the second half, and there's, again, another game that could go either way, Coach.
Well, absolutely. Upper Perk coming off a big win. Pottstown coming off a tough loss. And, you know, I look for Mike Felix and Zeke Hallman to continue their good offensive plays for the Indians. And I look for Pottstown to come back, and they got this Ernest McAlvine kid. Did you ever play with a McAlvine?
I did. I know a bunch of them, yeah.
There were some good players,
yep.
and he is a heck of a defensive lineman. So Upper Perk better make sure they account for Ernest McAlvine, because he's been leading that Pottstown defense all year.
And then again, our last game that we have, another Saturday afternoon matinee, if you will. Pottsgrove travels to Phoenixville. Pottsgrove, again, trying to stay focused as Rick Pennypacker tries not to allow the kids to look ahead to the following week in their matchup with PV. But again, Phoenixville played much better defensively. Offensively, tough game last week. But again, Pottsgrove would seem to have a little bit of advantage going down to play at Washington.
Well, they are the prohibited favorite there in that football game. But Coach Breisblatt last week and a week before that has his team playing hard. Hopefully they can stay away from the injury bug and keep those kids healthy to go for 48 minutes.
Yeah, as we mentioned, there's another team that's playing a lot of kids both ways. And in that fourth quarter, when crunch time comes, you know, they seem to run out of gas a little bit. All right, Coach. Well, it was another good week here on the Vlahos Dunn Insurance Monday Morning Quarterback Show with us. And, again, we'll look forward to next week. But we're going to take a quick time out. When we come back, we're going to meet the Coach and Player of the Week right here on set.
Welcome to the office of John H. Greismeyer Jr., where we believe in the value of relationships. We take pride in giving you the assistance you need, where that involves income tax, payroll, or financial statement preparation. Located in Boyertown, we're committed to meeting the needs of the people in our community, and our team of skilled financial professionals look forward to working with you. John H. Greismeyer Jr. Call us or visit our website now.
At long last,
date night has arrived.
And you want to make it something special.
Something romantic.
You've heard a lot of great things about Panavino
in the new downtown district.
Fine Italian dining
with a cosmopolitan flair.
Drinks before dinner at the bar?
Why not?
Then it's just us.
Savoring the creations of Chef David Brennan.
What's this?
Dinner and a movie for two?
Only $50?
Panavino Italian Restaurant
truly is the beginning of the perfect evening.
In the new downtown Reading.
Grab your mug and your kilt and come on down to Doc Watson's. We have great food, drinks, and different bar games. Our nightly specials will keep you coming back for more. Join us Monday through Friday, 4 to 6, for some fun at happy hour with $1 off drinks. The pub is newly renovated and under new management. It will surely become your new favorite place. We're located at 1080 East Philadelphia Avenue in Gilbertsville. Doc Watson's, a true Irish pub. At Vlahos Dunn Insurance, we understand what moves people in business and in life, and we use this knowledge to better serve our clients. And we bring the same work ethic and commitment to our business as our customers do theirs. Vlahos Dunn Insurance, providing quality coverage to the Tri-County area since 1994. So call our knowledgeable staff.
Hi, I'm Jim Vlahos of Vlahos Dunn Insurance, and we're in your community.
Fred Beans Ford of Boyertown is located on Route 100, just 2 miles north of Boyertown. Fred Beans Ford provides automotive sales, service, parts, and body shop all in one place. They're open 6 days a week. Fred Beans Ford in Boyertown can be reached at 800-222-0243, 800-222-0243, or online at fredbeans.com.
This portion of the Vlahos Dunn Insurance Monday Morning Quarterback is brought to you by FUJIYAMA, the total Japanese steakhouse and sushi bar experience.
There we are. We're back here on the Vlahos Dunn Insurance Monday Morning Quarterback. Dave Ridenauer, joined by the Coach and Player of the Week. And again, we want to thank the Trophy and Plaque Shack and the Digital Printworks for helping us provide with our gifts and things that we have for the guys. And Tom Hontz, the first-year coach at Upper Perk, and a running back, a defensive back, number 20, Mike Felix. Guys, first of all, congratulations and welcome to the show. And it's good to see you. You know, we've talked many times. We just mentioned I didn't realize that you were wrestling coach for 24 years, and we had some dealings with the wrestling. Now we're here for football. It's a pretty good thing. And Mike, welcome to the show and congratulations on a big win. You know, Tommy, obviously, I guess the first question that I think that we need to ask is, 24 years, very, very successful. I mean, the dominant team in wrestling for a long period of time, and now football. Maybe you can sort of tell us a little bit about what happened there, or why you decided to give this a shot. Tell us a little bit about that. People ask me all the time.
Sure, Dave. I've been involved with the football program at Upper Perk for 20 of those years, and at various levels, whether it was middle school or as an assistant at the high school program. And when the opportunity came and the job opened up, I felt, I wanted to see if I could take my coaching abilities to the head coaching position at football. And, it's always nice having quality kids like Mike. He's also a wrestler, so I knew I could trust him to be a tough goer for me. And it's been a great experience, so I'm really enjoying it.
That's cool. And Mike, obviously, if Coach as a football coach and a wrestling coach, is he pretty much the same guy in both sports?
Oh, yeah. I've had him as my wrestling coach the past 2 years, so
you sort of had a little background with him and knew what to expect?
Pretty much.
Yeah. Now, also, you've coached, I guess it was junior high level for a while there, and you're successful ninth grade program, so I guess you know what's coming up and what you have to look forward to.
Yeah, and our team, as you've been talking about tonight, there's not a lot of depth, but we've had to use some young guys, and we've got some freshmen in there. Mike's only a junior. Zeke Coleman, a sophomore quarterback. So, we're going to put the best athletes on the field and hope for some success.
Now, Mike, you've had a really sort of an up and down year. You had some problems with injuries and things, and we won't disclose those injuries so the other teams won't know what the deal is. But you've had some injuries, but when you've been able to play, you certainly have really done a heck of a job. And how are you feeling now?
Yeah, I'm feeling pretty good now. I've healed.
So you're pretty well ready to go?
Yeah.
Now, you have him playing both ways as too, Coach. You talk about that lack of depth, but you have to take your quality kids and put them out there. You have Mike running the football and then also playing safety for you.
Yeah, absolutely. His abilities as a runner are phenomenal. He's just got great vision out there. But, again, I think he brings some of those wrestling talents. He's got solid tackling skills, and that's why the free safety is very important.
There you go. So you got that double leg takedown and things in there as well. But do you prefer either one of them over the other? You like defense better, offense better? What do you like?
I don't know. I think about the same.
About
probably.
the same? Okay.
Yeah.
Now, do you have to get ready for one more so than the other? Like if you're, say you're getting ready for last week's game against O&J, okay? Do you have to put more time in on the defensive side of the ball, offensive side? How does that work for you, practice-wise and stuff?
I probably play about the same on each side.
Okay.
So I play both sides on the ball, so.
In practice, do you don't have to concentrate more, say, like figuring out maybe where their pass routes are and look at more film as them on offense as opposed to what they're defensively they do?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Now, you know, you have a plan coming in. You know, you wanted to try to establish a couple things. And when people ask me about, you know, what we thought you'd do, I said, well, I tell you, they're going to be tough and they're going to be enthusiastic. And I'm sure that's what you're trying to really help to build your program with, Tom.
Yeah, you know, and Mike may not have said it, but we've often left some practices, and he said, you know, that was like a wrestling practice, actually. You know, we really emphasize conditioning. We, you know, like you said, we're not the biggest school, but we're going to try and be scrappy out there.
Absolutely. Well, you know, the two games that you've been able to win, Mike certainly has played a big part in that, you know, and his rushing for over 150 yards when you beat Pope John Paul, and then also when you beat O&J 190 yards. So he's a big part of your game plan on the offensive side of the ball.
Absolutely. And, you know, when he's healthy, we're going to be in good shape on the offensive side of the ball, and that's why we hope we keep him healthy the rest of the go.
Yeah. Well, you know, it's funny. Coach says that, you know, you could turn those 2- and 3-yard runs into 6, 7, 8-yard, and you're not the biggest guy, so you just got that toughness. You look for those extra yards after contact.
Yeah.
Keep those legs churning.
Yeah. That's pretty much part of the conditioning that Coach Hontz puts us through.
Now, obviously, with your wrestling background as well, you're sort of used to those kind of conditioning things and stuff with Coach?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, you know, how's it going for you so far, Tom? I mean, has it been what you've expected? Is there anything that's really changed or something different that you weren't ready for? Or, you know, how's the first half of your first year going?
It's been a great experience. Definitely some a lot more than I thought, a lot more to it, and a lot of pieces to the puzzle, and I'm really thankful. The staff that I've assembled has really done a great job. Can't say enough about Coach Beeler and Coach Peoples and Coach Cole and Coach Engel. Really good people to work with, and you know, it's been really satisfying so far.
Now, you had your big homecoming game last week against O&J Roberts, Mike. Was there a little extra put into it because it was your big homecoming game?
Yeah, kind of. Like, it was a big game because of homecoming. It made homecoming a lot better since we won. So.
Yeah, absolutely, I'm sure.
Yeah.
And O&J certainly a team sort of like you guys, you know, still trying to find a way. Did you feel that, man, we got a real good shot to win this ball game going into it?
Yeah, it did. So I've watched a lot of their film, and I saw their plays that were coming.
So you were ready again.
Yeah.
I would think defensively, especially that, you know, I know they like to throw the ball a lot, and Tom, obviously your game plan, you had some things you wanted to do, and how did you approach the game against O&J? Was it a little bit different from some of your other games, or what did you see that you thought you could have some success with?
Like I said, the biggest thing was getting everybody healthy. It was the first time all year. You know, in addition to Mike, we've had a few other people banged up, and you know, that depth that kills us, and we were just anxious to actually implement the offense that we've been working on all off season, and defensively, again, Coach Peoples, you know, they gave up a lot of yards, but they were able to buckle down when we needed to.
So you had a little bend but break defense as well, as you gave up some yards, and you were able to stop them when you needed to, and pulled out that big victory. Now, you know, you have another couple more games coming up, as we talked off air. You have like 3 games left, and you're starting to build on all these different things. You know, have you been able to look to those seniors for some leadership, Tom, to try to help some of the younger guys and maybe some of the veterans like Mike helping out in the locker room, trying to get these guys going?
Yeah, absolutely. You know, it's been really nice having Mitch Fretz. He's healthy finally. He's a solid left tackle for us, and great leader on the team. And And we had some nice production from a couple other seniors last game. Wyatt Brum stepped up and caught a long touchdown pass from Zeke, and Jake Peary's just been solid on both sides of the ball. And those seniors are really important. I said you're going to be the beginning stepping stones of hopefully building this program for us.
Well, now, you're a quiet guy, but do you find yourself as a leader by example? You try to get the kids work hard. You have that wrestling background, so you have the conditioning and the toughness. Is that sort of the way you work things?
Yeah, I try to push the younger kids to get better and just keep
going.
playing.
Yeah. Well, you have Coach Mick's favorite player, Somke, and he can't pronounce his last name, so he's back, I guess, and helping you out in the backfield as well. So it's some good things for the last few games of the year, and maybe look forward to. You don't want to look forward to next year already, but those kind of things can springboard you for the future.
That's what we're hoping, and like you said, Somke and Mike in the backfield together. That's what we were really hoping for. Somke's the power back. He's got the slick moves, and I also want to say Mike's unbelievable. He sprints out to practice, sprints off the field at the end of practice, does some extra running after practice. He's nonstop, a tremendous workaholic out there.
Well, that's one of the things that you need, and only a junior, which is good for the Indian program, is he got some time to build on that and get in that weight room. So you got to keep those shoulders squared away. And you said that the two times that we were able to talk after victories, that you said it's total team efforts, and that's what you need from Upper Perk. And when you're able to get them, good things happen for you, Tom.
Yeah, absolutely. And I hate to keep bringing up the wrestling, but that's the difference. Football is such a total team sport, and unless you have all the guys on the same page, you're not going to have much success. And we've been fortunate. Like I said, this past weekend was a nice win for us.
Yeah, certainly was. Now let's look ahead to this week coming up. You have Pottstown. Yeah. You know much about Pottstown at all, Mike? Have you been able to look at them yet or read about them? What do you know about Pottstown?
Well, yeah, we've watched some film on them today at practice, so I think we pretty much know what's coming from their offense.
Now you play a Saturday game. Does that make a difference for you? You like a Saturday game? You like Friday night under lights? What do you prefer?
I prefer Friday nights because it's a lot cooler. On a Saturday afternoon, it's going to be a lot hotter out on the field.
Yeah, it is. But you get an extra day to practice now and prepare, though, Tom, which I know the coaches always like. I mean, I know the players, and I played at Pottstown back in the day when we were the only team that had lights, and so we played Friday nights, and our Saturday afternoon games were not near as much fun for us as players, but coaches like that because we had an extra day to prepare, and I'm sure you have some things you want to get done between now and Friday, and then, of course, Saturday.
Yeah, but it is a challenge. You got to get them in the right mindset for that Saturday afternoon game, and we're trying some different things pregame and that sort of thing, and so hopefully we'll be mentally prepared.
Yeah, I know. That was one of the things I always did. I didn't know what to do when I got up. I'm up, I'm ready, and it's 9 o'clock in the morning or whatever it is, and you have to get to the school and do those things. And we didn't play well on a lot of Saturdays, and I know it is a big transition for you, but that's something that you'll have to work on and check that out. So you're ready for Pottstown. You feel pretty good. You about 100% now, Mike?
Yeah, I feel 100% now.
Good. So you got 3 games to go. So you just go all out for you. And I do have to ask you this before we let you go. What are you going to do this winter? I mean, what are you going to do?
Well, my son's involved with the Springford Youth Wrestling, so I'm going to be helping out there. And they're luring me into the middle school wrestling. I might actually be coaching at that level. So.
I see. That's in your blood. You can't give that stuff up. But you got to make sure you run that weight room in the all season there too to get those football guys ready to go. But congratulations on a big win. And we have a couple of things here for you, Mike. Again, courtesy of the Digital Print Works, we have our certificate naming you the Player of the Week from last week. And then we also have what we call our little mini Heisman. Again, this is from the Trophy and Plaque Check, naming Mike Felix the Player of the Week from Upper Perk Yeoman. And there you can have that and show everybody, take that into school for show and tell those guys. All right?
Thank you.
Hey, congratulations. And seriously, keep up the good work and good luck with the injuries and keep rolling and getting that weight room and go. But Tom, it's always fun to talk to you. And like I said, I had a funny feeling you were going to try to sneak back in that wrestling somehow in the wintertime, but get those guys in the weight room. Hey, big win for first-year coach Tom Hontz over at Upper Perk. Their win number 2, and again, number 20, junior running back and safety, Mike Felix for the Indians. All right, we're going to take a quick timeout. When we come back, the dynamic duo is going to be up here talking about Eagles and the big win over the New York Giants last night. So stay tuned for more right here on the Vlahos Dunn Insurance Monday Morning Quarterback Show.
Big savings at SANATOGA Thriftway. Our large selection of food, drinks, and household items at great prices keep you coming back. Stop by the deli and order big party platters so you can be fully prepared for the big game. As always, our friendly staff and fast checkout will make your shopping experience quick and enjoyable. SANATOGA Thriftway is celebrating our 14th anniversary of serving the Tri-County area, so stop by and check us out so we can check you out.
Grab your mug and your kilt and come on down to Doc Watson's. We have great food, drinks, and different bar games. Our nightly specials will keep you coming back for more. Join us Monday through Friday, 4 to 6, for some fun at happy hour with $1 off drinks. The pub is newly renovated and under new management. It will surely become your new favorite place. We're located at 1080 East Philadelphia Avenue in Gilbertsville. Doc Watson's, a true Irish pub.
Long last,
Date night has arrived.
and you want to make it something special.
Something romantic
You've heard a lot of great things about Panavino,
in the new downtown district
fine Italian dining,
with a cosmopolitan flair.
drinks before dinner at the bar?
Why not?
Then it's just us.
Savoring the creations of Chef David Brennan.
What's this?
Dinner and a movie for 2?
Only $50?
Panavino Italian restaurant
Truly is the beginning of the perfect evening.
in the new downtown Reading.
Welcome to the office of John H. Greismeyer Jr., where we believe in the value of relationships. We take pride in giving you the assistance you need, where that involves income tax, payroll, or financial statement preparation. Located in Boyertown, we're committed to meeting the needs of the people in our community, and our team of skilled financial professionals look forward to working with you. John H. Greismeyer Jr. Call us or visit our website now.
We're back for the dynamic duo version of the Vlahos Dunn Insurance Monday Morning Quarterback. Dave Ryder and my buddy Joe C. Brought to you by Fred Beans of Boyertown. There we are. We're having some fun there, Joe, as always. And boy, where did the years go, man? That was a while ago. You know, you even had your mustache and everything. And more hair. And more hair. Oh, that's good stuff. But yeah, Dave? I'm good, my man. I'm good. How are you today? Were you able to watch the whole game? Did you stay up?
Mostly,
Okay.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I got to get off that recliner, man. That thing just swallows me right up, and next thing you know is I'm missing stuff.
Yeah, my mistake is if I'm sitting up, I'm good. But as soon as I lay down on the couch, it's all over.
That's all over. It's
done.
over. It's a wrap
done.
there. It's a wrap there. That's pretty good stuff. But hey, 27 zip. I don't know if there's anybody, even the most vivid fan and for Philadelphia, could have predicted a 27 zip win over the Giants, who had been playing well. You know, they had won 3 games in a row. Eli and the run game seemed to be getting on the same page. You know, they did have a new offensive coordinator, which changed some things, a lot of terminology. So it took a little bit of adjustment period for the Giants. But boy, I tell you what, the Eagles really came out in their first shutout since. Oh, that's right.
Easy now.
Okay, my bad.
That's a trivia question.
Oh, okay.
That's going to be the trivia question. But yeah, I mean, Rashard Jennings gets hurt, so he goes down. So I don't know if that affected anything or not. But you saw Andre Williams. He actually pancaked Malcolm Jenkins right there in the first quarter. I was like, oh, we got a problem here. We're literally running right over him. And then the defense, Connor Barwin just went nuts.
He did go nuts. He had a great game, I'll tell you what. And that offensive line, which had been playing better for the Giants, really looked like a sieve, if you will. And the Eagles, Billy Davis gets hammered a lot of times, but he comes up with some pretty good plans. And guys have to play. You have to play, and I think they did a pretty good job with that. Congratulations to the Eagles in the big 27-0 win. And since we're talking about the trivia question, again, we have a question each week. In honor of our old good buddy, Big Frank Patera, who was certainly the most loyal fan we ever had here on the Monday Morning Quarterback. And it's brought to you by Doc Watson's over there in Gilbertsville, right next to Zurn. Stop into Doc Watson's and get yourself a nice sandwich and something to drink and have some fun. It's a great place, good food over there, right there in Gilbertsville. And Joseph, what do you got?
The Eagles' last shutout was December 1st, 1996. Who was it against?
Okay, so there we go. This was the first shutout since 96. That's almost
96.
That's 18 years.
Wow.
18 years since they've had a shutout.
I had no idea. I saw that. I was like,
I can't believe that either. 18 years since they've had a shutout.
What was the team that they shut out?
Okay, so who did they shut out 19 years ago? Or 18 years, excuse me, in 1996, the last time the Eagles were able to put a donut up there for the opposition. And, it's different this year anymore because there's so much more openness to the offenses. Shutouts don't happen. I think there's only been 2 this year in the NFL. I'm not sure who had another one, but I think I heard somewhere this was only the second shutout for the whole season so far. And the Eagles have played 6 games, so in the first 6 weeks of the season, that there's only been 2 shutouts. So it doesn't happen much with the way they throw the football around anymore.
Exactly. Offense is it. What do they say with the home runs in baseball?
Yeah, that's right.
But they're looking for offense.
Well, I guess and the powers that be think that that's what the people want to watch. Obviously they're really worried about TV ratings because that's where all the money comes from the advertisers and sponsors on the NFL. So they want to see an exciting game, and they've done everything they can to almost handcuff the defensive players, particularly the D-backs.
Sure, we talked about it the last few weeks about the hand checking, and every 5 seconds there's a flag.
Yeah, it's crazy, and so that defense really deserves a lot of credit. Now, it's funny. I wrote down the NFC East standings now, and the Eagles and Cowboys are both 5-1. When it looked like in the beginning of the season, it probably was going to be a pretty easy division for the Eagles to win, as long as the wheels didn't fall off everything. But now the Cowboys, I'll tell you what. Tell me about that.
I think we thought that because the Cowboys defense was like the worst in the NFL last year with Rex Ryan.
Right.
This year with Scott Linehan there, things have really changed. I mean, they picked up McClain, who was on the
he was retired.
He was done.
Yeah, he was retired.
He was done. He was through Oakland, through Baltimore, and he seemed to revive. Skandrick was out because of performance enhancing drugs. They had a problem with the other guy who got upset, Claiborne, I think. He got upset because as soon as Skandrick came back, they put him in, and it doesn't seem to faze him. And then you got Tony Romo, who just seems to be like Houdini back there on that 3rd and 20 play yesterday. That was crazy.
Unbelievable. And Sean Lee, who was their best defensive player,
hadn't
played at all.
Right.
He's out for the whole year. He got hurt in preseason on a non-contact drill where he sort of blew his knee out and stuff. So it didn't look good for Dallas at all. And for some reason, everything is working, and I think it goes back to, you look at those 3 first-round picks on that offensive line. They got the center, they got the guard who I really wanted the Eagles to try to get, that Zach Martin from Notre Dame last year, and then, of course, the left tackle Tyron Smith from USC.
Right.
Those 3 guys have solidified that line, and now they said, you see what Coach Mick and I say, run the football and play defense. You got chances to win ball games.
Right. I mean, that's what they're all talking about too, is the offensive line of the Cowboys and how well they're playing, but look at DeMarco Murray. He just tied Jim Brown since 1958. 1958 that record was, 6 consecutive games to start the season with over 100 yards. And I got to tell you, yesterday, I did not think that the Cowboys were going to go in to Seattle and come out, 1, with the win, or 2, with DeMarco Murray running for over 100 yards. No way.
Well, his old bugaboo has been what Felix Jones was and everybody else they've had in the last 5 or 6 years or so is the injury bug. They can't keep those guys healthy. But it looks like DeMarco Murray this year has sort of rededicated himself, and he looks like a whole new ball player. I mean, he's fired up. He's running people over. He's the first guy back to the huddle. I mean, I certainly haven't followed the Cowboys that thoroughly to know all the ins and outs of it. But, when you watch them on TV, they are a different team than they've been the past few years. And, they were worried about Romo because he had that back surgery in the offseason. But you mentioned Houdini, he has J.J. Watt bearing right down on him, and he sees him somehow from behind him and moves and spins and throws the ball on the money.
He did the same move yesterday and threw that 3rd and 20 pass to Terrence Williams, who's not a bad ball player at all. He uses his hands a lot, but he made a heck of a catch there, kept his feet in bounds. That kept that drive going, and for Murray to get his 100 yards, because I think he had a 25-yard run, and then he scored on a 15-yard touchdown run. But you look at Seattle, they're holding running backs. I think the high was like 38 yards.
I know. Yeah,
I saw that. I was like, what? Yeah. And Murray had 115. But I really like Murray coming out of Oklahoma. He was a stud then. Too. And like you said, as long as he's healthy, he is a stud.
He certainly is
a stud.
Well, the other 2 teams, the Giants, again, now Giants fall to 3-3, and Washington is still searching at 1-5. So it looks like a 2-horse race, and all points heading towards Thanksgiving Day, which should be a good one at 4:30 in the afternoon. So that Thursday, when the Eagles and the Cowboys hook up on Thanksgiving Day, after everybody is settled in after turkey stuff, could be a really good one. And we don't want to jump ahead too far because there's a lot of games, obviously, between now and then. But that's going to be a heck of a football game, Joe.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Well, let's talk a little bit about the Eagles now.
All right.
Since we gave Dallas a little bit more time than we normally would.
Yeah,
but,
I was surprised
but we had to talk about the NFC East a little bit. And, like I said, it's a 2-horse race. It appears to be. But, what are some of your observations from the game yesterday? Because there's a lot of things that we can talk about with the Eagles and what happened yesterday. We got Foles, we got McCoy, we got the Sproles deal. We got some things happening. What jumped out at you?
Besides Connor Barwin, Casey Matthews. I thought Casey Matthews played really well. I was very impressed with him and his tackling, and also Vinny Curry. I'm a Vinny Curry fan. I know he hasn't been getting as much playing time or as he should, but he had 2 sacks yesterday too. And their defense really had put a lot of pressure, the defensive line and linebackers, put a lot of pressure on Manning, so he was definitely jittery back there.
Well, it's funny, and again, I don't certainly want to sound like I know everything about the game, but I've played it all my life, and I coached it and followed the game. But what happened when they put Nick Foles under center? If they have Nick Foles under center against the 49ers, they're 6-0 right now. 3rd and goal inside the 2-yard line. They put Nick Foles under center. They let McCoy back in his natural spot to run the football, and the linemen get a push off the initial snap count, and they're moving forward rather than laterally. And I'm telling you right now, they get that in there.
Absolutely. We talked about that last week or the week before. You had talked about that off the air as well, and I agree with you 100%.
Yeah. And again, when we had Neil Olkowitz on here last week, he talked about that. He said, hey, I loved it when they were running laterally and side to side to keep all those big guards and tackles off of me as the middle linebacker. And that spread formation, they don't get so much after the linebackers. They kind of catch them on the second level. But when they get lined up and they get that push off the line where they get some movement against the defensive tackles, now those linebackers can't scrape and find the football. And I tell you what, McCoy looked like a whole different guy yesterday, particularly when Foles was under center and he was in his natural running position.
Yeah, he had 149 yards rushing. He averaged, 6.8 yards? 6.8 yards a carry.
Yeah.
And, the Giants' defense with,
Pierre-Paul and Cullen Jenkins, those guys. I mean, they're not chumps.
No, not at all. But you know what? There he is. there's the real, they got in the paper, the real McCoy finally showed up.
Yeah, that was good headlines in the Philadelphia Daily News, the real McCoy for sure. But I was impressed by that, and there are a couple other things that we had as well. And even Coach Chip Kelly singled out Casey Matthews on his press conference today, I listened to on WIP, as really playing well the last couple of weeks, and he said this was probably his best game.
I agree. I didn't hear that press conference, but I noticed that stood out to me last night. And what also stood out to me last night was Foles throwing off his back foot way too much. I don't know if he's feeling the pressure or what. They were saying on air about how he's just going to let it go and stop pressing and stop worrying about throwing an interception. But that ball that he threw out into the flat to Sproles, that should have been returned. That should have been.
Well, he had two bad interceptions, and but on a night that he did throw the ball well, he and Zach Ertz appeared to be on the same page. Do a nice.
He's a player.
He is good, and Casey made a nice catch for a touchdown as well. I mean, Casey looks to be a versatile guy. What do you think about the black unis, Joe? Were you on them?
I liked them. I think with Sproles being hurt, he has MCL sprain. They're on the bye this week, and he'll probably be out the following week. I don't know if Polk's going to be healthy because he has a sore hamstring. They're going to have to probably go and take Matthew Tucker off the practice squad.
Well,
because they were using Trey Burton last night.
Yeah, and Trey Burton showed his versatility, and I think one of the reasons why he's on the team is because
of that.
Yes, and I know Chip Kelly said he likes these guys that can play more than one position. Basically, why they kept Casey Matthews the last couple of years when a lot of people thought they should cut him and keep Acho, and some of those guys that they cut and they brought back because there were some injuries and things. But another guy, Brandon Graham, I mean, he seems to be rejuvenated. I never really liked the pick at all. I never thought he was fit in. He's sort of a tweener guy at 6'2" and 250. He wasn't really an outside speed guy, or he wasn't really big enough to be a D end. And why they sort of traded up to get him, I never quite understood that. But he's having a good last couple of games as well, Joe.
Fletcher Cox. And Trent Cole seems to be a little rejuvenated as well. And they're 5-1, and I agree with you. They could be 6-0 right now,
without a doubt.
But you have Dallas 5-1, the Eagles 5-1, and San Diego is 5-1.
So they have some teams right in there. All right, well, let's take a quick time out, Joe, and we come back. We got a couple other things to do. I want to get your fantasy picks. We want to get some of that stuff out of the way as well as we have some fun here on the Vlaho's Done Insurance Monday Morning Quarterback. He's Joe C. I'm Dave right now. We're the dynamic duo right here on the show.
At Vlaho's Done Insurance, we understand what moves people in business and in life, and we use this knowledge to better serve our clients. And we bring the same work ethic and commitment to our business as our customers do theirs. Vlaho's Done Insurance, providing quality coverage to the Tri-County area since 1994. So call our knowledgeable staff.
Hi, I'm Jim Vlahos of Vlaho's Done Insurance, and we're in your community.
Grab your mug and your kilt and come on down to Doc Watson's. We have great food, drinks, and different bar games. Our nightly specials will keep you coming back for more. Join us Monday through Friday, 4 to 6, for some fun and happy hour with $1 off drinks. The pub is newly renovated and under new management. It will surely become your new favorite place. We're located at 1080 East Philadelphia Avenue in Gilbertsville. Doc Watson's, a true Irish pub.
At long last,
Date night has arrived.
and you want to make it something special.
Something romantic
You've heard a lot of great things about Panavino,
in the new downtown district
fine Italian dining,
with a cosmopolitan flair.
drinks before dinner at the bar?
Why not?
Then it's just us.
Savoring the creations of Chef David Brennan.
What's this?
Dinner and a movie for two.
Only $50?
Panavino Italian restaurant
Truly is the beginning of the perfect evening.
in the new downtown Reading.
Score with big savings at Sanatoga Thriftway. Our large selection of food, drinks, and household items at great prices will keep you coming back. Stop by the deli and order big party platters so you can be fully prepared for the big game. As always, our friendly staff and fast checkout will make your shopping experience quick and enjoyable. Sanatoga Thriftway is celebrating our 14th anniversary of serving the Tri-County area, so stop by and check us out so we can check you out.
This portion of the Vlahos Dunn Insurance Monday Morning Quarterback is brought to you by Doc Watson's, a true Irish pub.
Hey, we're back on the Monday Morning Quarterback. Dave Ridenour, Joe C. Right here, the dynamic duo. You know, Joe, each week we do have a game ball to present. Why don't we get that ready? Here is my man Jesse in there pushing all the buttons, doing a good job as usual. Let's get my buddy Paul up there, who I got to go see this week anyway to get my hair cut. So I'll be calling him tomorrow. But there he is. There's my buddy Paul Strauss at 943 North Hanover Street in Pottstown. Again, he's been with us since the beginning, and we appreciate his generosity and his support over all the years. All right, well, I'm going to go first. I think last week I let you go first, so we'll sort of alternate them. And, you know, I sort of try to find someone a little bit different who's not, you know, the obvious kind of thing, but I had to go with my boy Tom Brady. He'd been under the gun a little bit. They're up there giving him some heat, and he rebounds with his 60th 300-yard passing game. That's a lot of games over 300 yards. And I watched some of the highlights, and man, he was putting the ball on the money. And you know, they got Brandon LaFell and Julian. I mean, guys that aren't household
Julian
names.
Edelman and this guy Timms. And
Gronkowski, Gronkowski's a guy.
And Tim Wright.
Tim
Wright,
who
the
they're
tight
trying
end.
to develop into somebody. But, I mean, it's not like he's doing it with Randy Moss and those guys like they used to have some pretty good ones, he and Wes Welker. But, he was 27 for 37, 4 TDs, 361, no INTs. And the Bills sort of acted like they sort of wanted to get into the mix of the AFC East, and they're sitting at 3-3 now, and New England's back on top at 4-2.
That was a close game in the first half. That was mostly all second half for him. So that's good.
37-22, big win for Brady and the boys. So I'm going to go Tom Brady.
Yeah.
There were a couple ones. I had some honorable mention guys. Who you going?
Yeah, but touching on the Brady thing, fired up too. I mean, showing a lot of emotion and really getting into it, which is good for New England.
Absolutely.
I was going to go with Joe Flacco.
Okay.
I mean, 21 for 29, 306 yards, and 5 TDs.
5 TDs in the first 16 minutes of the game. Are you kidding me, Tampa Bay?
Are
you kidding me?
I'm like, I had Torrey Smith on my bench yesterday, and I'm like, what is Flacco doing? Because that's not him. That's definitely not him.
Well, it's funny because they bring Lovie Smith down there because he's going to be a player's coach and he's going to get them all fired up and he's going to do this and that. And they're 1-5, and they gave up 5 touchdown passes in the first 16 minutes of the ball game. I mean, are you kidding me?
Nah, 6 straight possessions to begin the game. Yeah. No,
I'm like, holy cow, dude. I mean, you're supposed to be a defensive guy with the Bears. You had all that, and you've given up over 200 points already. They have the worst defense point-wise in the NFL. They're the only team that's given up over 200 already.
And a lot of times with Tampa Bay anyway, a lot of times in the past, when teams came into Tampa Bay would always play well there. I mean, they laid an egg.
Yeah,
they laid an egg there. And
big time egg.
I don't know what's going on there.
Yeah, I don't know either. I mean, that's not good at all. And another Fugazi team that I've always said, and I thought Matty Ice was, I rooted for the guy. He's a local guy.
They're in trouble.
They're in big trouble.
They're in trouble.
I mean, look at them. They're 2-4. Yeah, he's got to be on the hot seat.
He could be on notice. Yeah, he could be on notice.
Holy cow. I mean, you got to finish games. And at home, they had always been sort of solid at home and couldn't beat anybody on the road. But they get beat yesterday by the Bears 27-14. Cutler goes in there and looks like a Hall of Famer.
Cutler's hot and cold, and Mike Smith is on the hot seat, and the other team that's in trouble too is the Jets. Yeah. The only reason why I think that Rex Ryan will keep his job is because they have a Thursday night game. If they didn't have a Thursday night game this week, I believe Rex Ryan would have been fired today because it's such a short week. If they lose Thursday night, which chances are they're going to, I would say that Rex Ryan's going to be out of the job by Saturday.
Well, they're playing New England at New England Thursday night. But you know, the dude, and then. I don't know. I never could warm up. I didn't really wasn't a big fan of Buddy Ryan. I'm certainly not a big fan of his sons. And you know, it's funny because the other twin, Rob, was going to go down there. Yeah, he's going to New Orleans. Yeah, he's going to go there.
Well, he was part of the problem Dallas had last year.
No kid. Now look at their defense now. I mean, you know, you got to do more than win one for the Gipper, and they're breaking into our house, and we have to protect our house and that kind of stuff. You know, the old Ray Road stuff.
Right.
Dude, you got to coach. You got to coach them up, and I mean, New Orleans. I mean, are you kidding me? Where are they at on the sheet here? They're at the bottom of somebody's order, aren't they? Well, they're 2 and 3.
2 and 3, right?
Yeah, but I mean,
they were on the bye this week.
Yeah, but they have Breeze and all those weapons, and yet they can't do anything. And then they let Sproles go, and they let the safety that the Eagles have, you know, Malcolm Jenkins.
Yeah.
You know, I'm thinking,
but they
really?
still have some weapons. They have Jimmy Graham. They have Mark Ingram, who's hurt. He has a broken hand and a wrist. And Pierre Thomas and Colston. And this Brandon Cooks looks good.
I like him.
He's a rookie.
He's another guy I really had my eye on during the draft as well. But I'm like, and you know what? I don't know if you heard my man Pac-Man. You know, Pac-Man is sort of,
Joe?
Yeah, he sort of is, you know, resurrected his career, and he's been out of trouble for a couple of years, hey, I give him a lot of credit.
News
you
is
know,
good
there's
news.
second chances and things, and then he returns that kickoff and does that other stuff, and they get down there and missed field goals just cost games. I mean,
thought that game was over.
Oh my gosh.
Mike Nugent's money, and he just pushed it to the right.
Oh my gosh.
He said it was the worst kick of his life.
It had to be. I mean, it was a chip shot.
It was a
chip shot because he said, yeah, we even put him right in the middle of the field. Pac-Man was ticked
down
off.
the
He was
middle,
not happy. And then even the Tennessee-Jacksonville game, Jacksonville has a chance to steal one. Scobie has a 50-yarder well within his reach, and Tennessee blocks that to save the day for that. And in the college, I mean, there's just so many missed field goals.
Well, look at even the Detroit Lions. They got rid of Nate Freeze, and they bring in Alex Henry. Henry missed 3 field goals the week before. So then Prater's out there, Matt Prater, because Denver cut him loose because they had McManus, because Prater had some alcohol, DUI, and some alcohol issues. They bring him in. He misses 2 field goals.
I know. They won. 11.
They won 17-3, but Prater missed 2 field goals.
They've missed 11 field goals this year already. Not one team all of last year missed 11. They've missed 11 in their first 6 games.
There you go.
That's crazy. That's really crazy. Oh my gosh. Well, you know, and then of course the injury thing that happens, and I tell you what, those offensive linemen, I feel for them. I was watching that Cleveland game. I had some interest in that game, and you know they lost Alex Mack, who was their center, with a broken leg, and one of those ugly ones that you don't like to see often at all, because you know when the players get down on the knee and they rally around a guy on both sides, you know it's sort of a bad one. Yeah. And they lost him, and then of course you know Victor Cruz with his knee, that he's probably out for the season with that the kneecap thing, the patella tendon or whatever.
Patella tendon,
yeah. So and Sproles, I mean, fortunately Sproles isn't going to be out. I guess the bye couldn't have come at a better time.
Right, he'll be out. They're saying 2 weeks, so.
And what's the latest with Kelsey and Mathis?
I haven't heard anything.
Okay.
No, it's still
we're
on target.
What are they? They're 5-1, 6 games, so maybe another week or 2.
Probably 2-3 weeks.
Yeah, because those guys are really actually starting to play pretty well. All right, Joe. Well, we have to do one more timeout. We'll take another commercial break here, and we come back. We're going to do our fantasy thing by the numbers. We're going to do our 5-pack picks and whatever else pops into our head right here on the Vlahos Dunn Insurance Monday Morning Quarterback.
At Vlahos Dunn Insurance, we understand what moves people in business and in life, and we use this knowledge to better serve our clients. And we bring the same work ethic and commitment to our business as our customers do theirs. Vlahos Dunn Insurance, providing quality coverage to the Tri-County area since 1994. So call our knowledgeable staff.
Hi, I'm Jim Vlahos of Vlahos Dunn Insurance, and we're in your community.
This portion of the Vlahos Dunn Insurance Monday Morning Quarterback is brought to you by Security 5 for all your commercial and residential security system needs, and by FUJIYAMA, the total Japanese steakhouse and sushi bar experience, and by Doc Watson's, a true Irish pub.
We're back here in the Vlahos Dunn Insurance Monday Morning Quarterback. Dave Ridenour and Joe C., the dynamic duo. And again, I would also like to take a minute to thank all of our advertisers and sponsors here on the show, which allowed Joe and I to have some fun. Also allows us to honor a coach and a player of the week, and also Coach Mick and I do our thing as well. So we have a lot of fun, a lot of good things happening here on the show, and we appreciate all their support. And you can help us out by going over there and patronizing those people. As you see their commercial, go over there and tell them that we sent you. All right, Joe, we started that new segment up, courtesy of my buddy Jack Griesmer, John H. Griesmer Accounting, over there in Boyertown, right next to Seville's Diner. We do a little segment called By the Numbers, and you are certainly more of a fantasy guy than I, but what do you got for us this week? Again, there we go, the accounting offices of John H. Griesmer Jr., better known as Jack Griesmer, my man. What do you got for us?
Well, this week I'm going to start with some wide receivers. Last week I gave you a tight end, Tim Wright, Brandon Oliver. This week I'm going to start with, you mentioned him, Brandon LaFell from the New England Patriots. He looked like he's stepping into the go-to guy for Tom Brady. Yesterday he had 4 catches, 97 yards, and a TD. So if you need a wide receiver, Brandon LaFell for the New England Patriots. Also, Andre Holmes, who had 4 catches, 121 yards, and 2 TDs for the Oakland Raiders. Derek Carr looks like they have a little connection going.
He's a guy.
And Carr's turning into a decent quarterback. I would look at Andre Holmes, and you mentioned it, Victor Cruz going down last night right at the end of the game. Odell Beckham Jr. for the Giants. Look for him to get some more targets, and he would be a guy. And also, if you need of a running back, Ronnie Hillman from the Denver Broncos. Monte Ball is going to be out for a few more weeks. So Hillman had 100 yards rushing yesterday.
Okay, so there you go. And again, there's a lot of things happening with this fantasy stuff, and there's an opportunity. You know, one of the things that I wanted to mention that we didn't mention before was I really like the fact that Chip Kelly also took the ball to start the game. You know, he had been deferring to the second half, wanting the ball to start the second half, and kicking off and giving the opposition the ball first off. And this week he changed his philosophy on that and took the ball, and I like that aggressive style, and it seemed to pay off for him as it set the tone for a lot more of an offensive onslaught, if you will, against the Giants.
I agree with you, because especially when you have such a quote-unquote powerful offense, you want to be aggressive and you want to score first. But if you're going to do that and you're going to defer to the second half, you want to have that opportunity to like send a message to your defense. And if you're not sending a message to your defense, then by all means, take the ball in the first.
Absolutely. You know, that's one of the things. And, you know, you touched on Derek Carr a little bit there when we were doing our fantasy thing by the numbers, again, courtesy of Jack Griesmer. I think he's going to be a good player. I think he's definitely the best rookie quarterback. Tony Sperano, you know, I've always liked him. I don't know why I like the guy. He's sort of a lineman kind of a guy. He gets down there in trenches. Did you see what he did? They dug this big hole at the practice field and buried a football, and they said this was last year's thing, and this is the beginning part of this year, and we're starting all new. So they dug this big hole, and all the players came around, threw a shovel full of dirt on the ball, and they're going forward. Yeah, it was pretty cool.
They played with some intensity and some passion yesterday. The problem was they went up against San Diego.
Right.
San Diego's playing really good ball now. Philip Rivers, I would say, is one of the top 5 quarterbacks in the league right now.
And I would vote for him for MVP. I mean, he's doing a lot with the least, maybe, if you will. I mean, they certainly were not expected to do that well. But you look at the AFC, they're the only team with one loss other than Cincinnati, but now they have a tie. But at 5-1, you know, I can see the Eagles and the Chargers playing in the Super Bowl.
Easy there, cowboy. Easy. Just calm yourself down
get
right
you a little
now.
Fired up on that.
No,
get you a little fired up on that.
Not there yet.
But yeah,
not
it's
2004 yet.
But you never know, and you got to think positive.
You never know.
And as I said, the Eagles with a bye this week. Eagles and Tampa Bay both have byes this week. So it seems to be a pretty good time, and hopefully some of these little nicks are going to heal up, give Foles another opportunity to, I still think that little shoulder has been bothering him a little bit, and hopefully he'll be able to be 100% when he comes back. But let's get Darren Sproles and everybody ready to rock and roll for the second half of the season. Yeah, for sure. Because they come back against Arizona, who is a team that I really like. I mean, here's another guy. I like Bruce Arians. I've always liked him. I thought that he was a heck of an offensive coordinator, and he certainly has turned out to be a pretty good head coach as well.
The Cardinals are 4-1.
I know.
And they're no joke.
I know.
They are no joke.
I know.
Ellington is hurt a little bit. But Carson Palmer came back yesterday, so that's going to bring back to life Larry Fitzgerald.
Yeah.
Because Stanton did decent job. But now all of a sudden Fitzgerald comes back into play. And it was funny because my daughter was like, who should I play? But she's in a fantasy team as well. She's like, who should I play, Eddie Royal or Larry Fitzgerald? And I told her to play Fitzgerald. And as soon as Eddie Royal gets a touchdown in the first quarter, she's like, he was with San Diego.
San Diego, okay.
And it hadn't really happened with Fitzgerald yet. She's like, gee, thanks a lot, Dad. Thanks a lot.
Yeah,
but as it turned out, and what I thought would happen was Carson Palmer makes Larry Fitzgerald go and vice versa.
Okay.
And that's not a bad combination.
Absolutely not a bad combination. But tell your daughter to give me a call. I'll give her a straight dope on that kind of stuff. All right, bud. Well, listen, I guess we're closing out another show here. Let's get our 5-pack picks in there.
Oh, wait a second now, because I know you've been skating through these 5-pack picks because 2 weeks ago I was 5-0.
Okay.
All right?
Okay. Congratulations.
Thanks. I got to pat myself on the back. And then this past week I was 4-1. My only loss was that Seattle-Dallas game.
Okay.
I was a little perturbed by that Tony Romo guy.
Okay. Well, how'd Neil make out?
Neil was 2-3. You were 3-2. Neil was 2-3, and I was 4-1. For the year so far, drum roll, please. No, I'm just kidding. You're 13-12, and I'm 18-7.
Okay.
All right. So
well, that's okay.
With
I'm
me
okay
being
with
away
that.
next week, it'll give you a chance to catch up.
Yeah, you'll be 0-5 because that's just the way.
I'm calling my picks in. I'm calling them in.
All right, you got to call them from. Take your overseas phone as you're down there. Whatever you're doing down there with sand in your shorts.
There you go.
All right, where's Panavino at for our 5-pack picks? There they are. There's my buddy Dave Brennan. Hey, I talked to a bunch of people that are up there. Coach Schmick actually played in their golf outing today up at Willow Hollow. You can stop in and see him at 25 North 2nd Street in Reading. Dave Brennan, tell you what, you talk about some Italian cuisine, that's the place to go. He can cook it up. All right, real quickly, here we go.
All
Tonight's game, San Fran at the Rams.
San Fran,
I got them.
Right.
Here's an interesting game, Cincinnati and Indy.
Where's that at, Dave?
It's at Indy.
It's at Indy?
That's Indy.
Oh, I'm going Indy.
I am too.
I'm an Andrew Luck fan.
I am too. I like him. Now, here's one. Andy Reid coming off a bye going to San Diego.
Wow, you know what? Andy Reid is really good off the bye. I'm taking Kansas City.
All right, I'll go the other way on that one. Just take the hot hand of Phillip Rivers. We have the Giants and the Cowboys now, which I thought was going to be a decent game, but I'm not sure now. What are you doing?
And that's
there?
at Dallas?
That's at Dallas.
I'm taking Dallas.
And then San Fran at Denver, which appears to be a very, very big game. That's the 8:30 game next Sunday night.
I'm taking Denver.
I'm going San Fran. I'll take that one to try to catch up with you that way as well.
Okay.
All right, pal. Well, listen, Joe won't be here next week. He's going on vacation, and we got Aaron Beasley, my man, the Killer Bee, is going to be sitting in for Joe. So we'll have a lot of fun with Aaron. He's always a good time. So we'll miss Joseph, but we'll see him in 2 weeks. Aaron Beasley will be sitting in that spot next week right here on the Vlaho's Done Insurance Monday Morning Quarterback. I'm Dave Ridenour, and thanks for watching.